with Stewy. Speak out with Stewy. Speak out with me. Let your voice free. Speak out with Stewy.
Thank you, Stewy.
What else
Thank
do
you.
you what else do you want to talk about? Is there anything else that you feel passionately about right now that you want to just speak out about before we wrap up our conversation?
Yeah. I think I was just wanting to talk to you about how you're communicating with everyone else, like about what's going on in the world, because I know you've had so many students that look so different. And I think that, like, my question is to people who are white, like, how are you communicating with others about, like, what's going on? Because you have so many people who have been affected or, touched by these issues. So I guess, like, my question is, like, what's going on with you in your world?
I feel like it's not my place to have a voice right now. It's just to listen. And I don't want to say or do anything that can be misconstrued as racist or bigoted or hateful or unsupportive. So I don't want to be completely silent about issues. And yet I don't feel like I'm completely the right person to be the voice of things like that. So I've just been trying to educate myself, watch different things on Netflix that have been suggested by this movement, and really learn about those things, like in Tulsa, you know. Um, that was something I had never even heard about, and I was horrified by, and I'm continually horrified by the continued systematic oppression. It's hard because no matter what you say, someone's going to be upset with you. They're going to say, how could you say this, or how could you say that? So really, I think my focus is to listen, and we need to change. I'm just trying to be educated.
I think it's important, and I don't think that all cops in it of themselves are bad, but I think that it's more the police institution is
Right.
bad. The police, policing in itself is bad. So in that way, like, the system that oppresses black and brown bodies is inherently bad. So when actively participating in the system, there's no way to be inherently good
I see.
because of what you're trying to do. I don't think that there can be a singular bad person, right? I think that we're all, like, I think that, yes, there are bad people out there, but I think that there's not, I think it's more about your actions, like what you do and what you contribute, right? But if you're
Right.
inside of this system, yeah, you're a part of the problem. And as you know, I think that it's important to talk about sexual assault and sexual abuse. And I think that it's important to even bring that into play in this discussion as well. But I think that, you can't say that all men are bad, but we can say that the patriarchy in itself is bad, because it actively oppresses women, and it actively hurts and abuses women. So I think that
Well, the
it's
fact that
important.
I wasn't free to come forward.
In 1985, because every example was blaming the victim and re-traumatizing the person over and over and over, and you were reporting, who the people you were reporting it to didn't believe you or thought you caused it. I mean, that's something that I hope is changing, with hashtag me too. But there are so many systems, that definitely need to be rethought, and a voice, a platform. I think that's just what we're trying to do, and that's what I've been trying to do for 10 years with discussing teen dating violence and sexual assaults and date rape and sexual abuse. It's not an easy thing to talk about, but eventually, it's hopefully going to change. I just watched Athlete A last night about the gymnastics
Oh yeah.
situation, and it's infuriating that these girls were not protected even when they came forward. So we have to educate young girls about their bodies, how they work. Many of them didn't know they had been molested, and to speak out about it, we need to be able to have this open dialogue. There's so many things, Bethany. We can get into topics and topics to topics, because we both care so much about these issues, you know.
Yeah. I think that to your point about, whether or not it's easier to come forward today with the Me Too movement, I think it has ushered in a time where people can talk about these things. But I think that there's still this element of fear, because I've even seen it on Twitter or other social media sites. Still, people demonize and villainize people who come forward about sexual assault and sexual abuse. I think to a certain extent, when I was dealing with my own trauma and with my own sexual assault story, I think that I wasn't willing to talk about it. And I think that I haven't really been able to talk about it until now. That a lot of us are afraid to speak out because we're afraid that, no one will believe us, or if we do file a police report, that it won't be investigated, or, it'll sit there with all the other rape kids, or, and like other things like that. So yeah, it's such a frustrating and kind of a big, thing that we all have to work through as a society and together. And yeah, no, I think that you talking about people not knowing what happened, that's what happened to me. That's what happened to so many other people. I think that because I was reading the piece, and I guess, like, because you're acting and that's how you act. But I remember the acting wasn't acting anymore. And I was like, this is my real life. Like, I am reliving this situation and I want it to stop. And I think I'd never in my life put to words that had happened to me. And I still am struggling to find the words to say that this is what happened. But I think that I couldn't put to words what was going on, except for through the words that were in that piece, because I knew that was a similar situation. And I think that it's so important to have these conversations about being Black, about being queer, about being a woman, about, the different layers of things that are going on and the intersectionality of issues that are present in our world, to be advocates for all types of people.
For sure. And just to say, like, I didn't know exactly what was going on with you. I just knew something was going on with you, and you were not forthcoming. No. So
I was not. I did not tell you anything.
But
cried.
I definitely am open now, as an adult, about what happened to me, because I realized I was a victim and I didn't cause it, or, the guilt, girls have and women have. So I feel like you have to have a 2-part video, because like one part is just all about, these issues. And then this other part is all about women's issues and how important that is. So maybe I'll edit this into 2 different videos. I know that I love talking to you because you're so knowledgeable and you're so passionate about the things you care, and human beings you love and care about everyone, and it's very inspiring, and you're out there doing it and making a difference, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Stewy, and thanks for having your students come and talk. I think it's important. Thanks for being a sponge. I know that sometimes it's hard to just soak in all the wild information that's being thrown out at you, but thanks for being a sponge and listening.
It's just weird, because I just feel like you're all my children, that I'm just going, yes, do it, go.
You can't get rid of us.
Be amazing. But come back and visit. Don't forget about me. So
no, we don't. We won't.
All right. I love you, and just keep doing what you're doing.
I love you too, Stewy. Aw, thank you.
All right. We'll talk again.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Stewy.
Speak out with Stewy. Speak out with Stewy. Speak out with me. Let your voice free. Speak out with Stewy. Speak out with Stewy. Oh. Let your voice ring and we will sing. Speak out with Stewy. Speak out with Stewy. Together we're in harmony. Speak out with Stewy. Speak up.